They went after the entire transformation of shifting the way that they had done business and how they're going to do business, which included, by the way, regulation. And they consistently worked it, consistently got closer. And when it popped for them, it was the kind of experience that everyone knew that was it. What
Wow.
is it we're about to do here? And that included a whole host of different avenues in that company, like a really hardline union environment. And they
Mm-hmm.
weren't going to buy into anything. That entire thing coalesced the organization around, and we felt it pop. We felt it pop. And what they created for the next 5 years was literally out of all the transformation efforts that I've been involved in. It was one where you went, oh, you know what? Incredibly worth one's lifeblood to put into this because it shifted literally the quality of life for everyone in the company, as well as all the customers they served. And they had an essential job to make sure that people had heat and the ability to cook their food and all of those things. It was essential. And they turned it into literally at that point the most admired utility in the United States. There wasn't anything even close. We took that. We had people coming from British Gas. We had people coming from all over the world to see what had been done. It all came with that work they did on vision and the conversations that ensued. And we opened it up. So we first started with that center team, went to an extended leadership team, and before you knew it, we were working in large groups of 1,000 people at a time. And 1,000 people at a time. One particular moment that opened up, I'll never forget it, is Steve Ewing had made a promise on what he would do and what he wouldn't do as it applied to the union in a large group conference, and he violated it. He violated the promise, and he had to stand back up in front of the group, all part of the visioning process here. And there was this moment where he went, this is where he either makes it or breaks it, because he's actually violated a promise. It was around costs and around increase in wage, all of this, and he violated it. And I watched Steve stand up, and he stood up and he said, I owe you an apology. I was wrong. I made a mistake. And I violated the agreement. I violated what I said I'm going to do. And I come to you saying, I'm going to change it. And I'm sorry. It was a mistake. And I watched that entire group. First, a bunch of really angry people. And then this guy at the back who was unbelievable. He was the head of the union. Stood up and he said, I trust that man. I trust Steve Ewing. I know that he is who he says he is, and I know that he made a mistake, and he apologized for it, and he owned it, and I'm with him. Bam, bam. This is the same guy, by the way, that stood up, that drove himself to the hospital after he'd had a heart attack and saved his own life on his freaking Harley in Detroit.
Of course
Gives
it
you a
is.
little bit about who he was.
That's
Yeah, yeah. Just in
awesome.
case you needed
That was
more of an
all part of
archetype.
that process.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
There's probably not a better way
Mm.
for a leader to actually engage their organization than this process of creating vision and purpose. Can't forget purpose. And so, what kind of leader you're going to show up to be is going to show up in this.
Well, maybe as a bit of as we wrap things up and a little bit of a final question, I'm wondering you've talked about sort of 30 plus years doing this work.
You're kind.
Yeah. Plus, it's a plus. It's a big plus.
Plus, a very large plus.
Exactly. Yeah. Family, grandkids, just all you've done. And I wonder when you think about personal purpose and how for you that shifted over the years, because I think sometimes we get caught up on thinking there's a purpose or like that we have to pick one and then we have to, like, that's it, that's my life. And I'm wondering, as you think back about how your own purpose has shifted over time and where you're noticing it's even pulling you today, I'm wondering what comes up.
Years ago, what really got me and got us going at that point, Cindy and I, had just written the whole systems approach, and we're doing this work. And purpose for us, for me, was creating a world of work where people thrive. And I came out of an environment where I was raised in an environment where work wasn't something that we had to do. It was something we were blessed to be able to do. And we thrived in that environment. And when I went into corporate, when I went into the business world, that was not my experience. People were not thriving at work. And so creating a world of work where people thrive really played it out as personal purpose for a long time, because I knew that that world of work where I can thrive actually results in better results. It actually creates the customer being well taken care of, and all of those things that go hand in hand. What shifted now for me is really the purpose on what it means to bring the conscious practice of leadership to the world that needs it more now than ever. Not limited to, I spent all of my time around business, but when I say conscious practice of leadership, for me, that's real personal. How is it that I can help others be conscious about their impact as a leader on those people around them, that they actually have a calling because they influence that individual's family, all of those individuals within the organization, the entire organization, the way that they're going to be able to live their life. They can actually make a difference in those individuals' lives in a way that everything gets better. I get to be a better father, I get to be a better husband, I get to be a better, dot, dot, dot. You fill all of those blanks out. And that's the conscious practice of leadership.